Ayo, welcome to Exploring the Taste with your boy Lihodi. Today I'm out in Today I'm out in Soweto, Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm with my cousin. And I featured.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I can say Mupedi or whatsoever.
Oh my god.
I don't have any intro.
There's no cut here, man.
I don't have any intro. I'm just Vanessa.
You're Vanessa.
I don't know. All the way from Mpumalanga, and yeah, I'm here.
Mpumalanga is another state in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are here because we're at Otlhe.
Yeah, how can I put it? I'm just Vanessa, all the way from Mpumalanga, and I don't know how I find myself here, but because Karata Strat. I guess you do subtitles, right? Or translated.
Yeah,
we
have to keep. You have to keep translating.
So yeah.
No, just be yourself. Even if you want to speak in Venek, but less Venek, because otherwise, my what do you call them? My subs. Mm-hmm. I have more subs from outside than here. I can see you.
Hey,
yeah.
You translate for them since
Okay. Now we're going to Vilakazi Street. It's also here in Soweto. Soweto is quite big. It's the biggest township in Africa, I think.
Okay.
Huh. You didn't know? Did you know that? Soweto is the biggest township in South Africa.
Yeah, it is. I spoke to my demons, think I need some time alone. It's been creeping on me all these nights to own my soul. Says she don't believe that I will leave her on her own. I've been through some shit, it's been some time since I've been home. Time at home. I don't really spend some time at home. Rather be spending some time alone. At a museum for guys that don't just try you wrong. Disappointed, haven't been talking but we avoid it. I see your status is pinned and pointed. I have no choice but to feel annoyed. Feel annoyed. I wanna make noise just to fill a void. Trying to avoid feeling paranoid. She look like she from York or from Illinois. Daddy look like she from US. Ayy, niggas gon' two-step. Fake shawty got me too fast. Space, I need like the moon set. Can't wait for the thing cause I'm gangster. Only time I feel it is when I'm
Exactly. So how you feel that we are now in Soweto?
Okay, it's my first time being here.
Yeah.
The place is in Joburg. Yeah, I guess it will be fun and the food will be tasty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get to it. Is it the same guy? No. See paparazzi, guys. Paparazzi. Samela, go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Nelson Mandela House.
So as you know that the uprising actually happened here in Soweto, but not just anywhere, Kona Vilakazi Moyema. So now this school here, which is called Pefeni High, and Gona fence becomes green and it becomes maroon. So those are two actual high schools, Elaki Orlando High. So now the sister was HECTOR PIETERSON, Nakenako School on Kafka. But we can start by the gates here so I can show you this one.
Okay.
So reason why I'm showing you this one, as you know that June 16, so the students on the school were the ones partaking on the uprising on June 16. That's why we have the Heritage Trail and the Heritage thing in Kamoko.
The youth of 1980.
76.
76.
Yes. Yes.
And you guys didn't know.
Was the kid that
you guys didn't know.
No, we knew, but we didn't know like this.
Well, how?
Place.
Okay. Actually, that's why I feel so as you can see, June 16 Soweto Heritage Trail.
Yeah.
That's why we were taking the HECTOR PIETERSON Trail, starting with the high schools that were partaking in the uprising. Then, from then onwards, we go to the history of schooling in Soweto so that you understand why it happened and how it happened. You know, so you know that back in the days in the 70s, the government paid about 644 for every white child. But for a black child, you only paid about 42 rand. So you see the government spent 644 on an education of every white child, yet only 42 on a black child in 67. There were 58 pupils to every teacher, and throughout the 70s this ratio increased. Some students only receive a few hours of tuition each day as they had to be taught in shifts. Education standard dropped and people became dissatisfied. So now what changed everything now? Or before everything changed? So now between 62 and 71, no new secondary schools were built in Soweto. The government declared that all new high schools were to be built in the homelands. By 68, the matriculation rate for black students had jumped to 33%. The education system for black students was in dire crisis. So here, why they had to build them in the homelands? You remember stories of Biko?
Steve Biko.
You know that Biko was not part of the ANC, but Biko started the Black Conscious Movement. And Biko was a student, was a medic student. But now Akiri Maburu Farama Ikolo in the homelands because they wanted to interact with the leaders on the homelands by educated. So that's how Biko and them got educated. But through school they saw how other countries have came about and won their freedom. That's when they started the Black Conscious Movement. By then Mandela and them were in prison. And where there were no political parties allowed, you understand? Yeah. So now, between 62 and 75, okay, sorry, we passed them. Okay. So the economic boom of the 70s forced changes. Factory owners cried out for black skilled laborers as there were not enough white people to fill the jobs. So now the industrialists preferred black workers who could be paid lower wages. In 72, the government reluctantly accepted that new secondary schools would have to be built in Soweto, or obviously in urban areas. So 42 new schools were built in Soweto between 72 and 76.
4 years.
Yes. So now, many more children now attend school and more educated group of young Sowetan emerged. They had a different identity from the youngsters who belonged to the gangs and who hung around the streets. As conditions in the school worsened, these people began to fight for changes in the Soweto classrooms. So that's why now you get the 76 uprising, where actually the 76 uprising didn't start here, but it was supposed to start here because it started Go Isaac Morrison's, which is another high school. So it spiraled all across Soweto. So there was about 6,000 students gathered at the corner of Vilakazi and Moyema. That's where now these atrocities happened, because now HECTOR, it wasn't because HECTOR, you can see, he was 13-year-old, okay?
Yeah, he was still young.
So obviously these are high schools.
Yeah.
So it tells you that he was not a student in one of the schools.
Yeah.
But the one who was a student was the sister. So because they were let out early, okay, here it's going to be a restaurant, Theatre Machine.
What?
Theatre Machine.
Soccer play?
No.
It was not
The story that we are talking about, the student leader at that time was Theatre Machine.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one who climbed on top of a tractor and started screaming that police are coming.
Yeah.
Please don't taunt them, don't do anything to them, because they were not fighting. I need you to know that every time black people did uprising or a march or anything, it would end up in a massacre.
Yeah.
That's how even the ANC started the military wing, because they wanted to fight things peacefully, but it didn't happen because Sharpeville became a massacre.
Yeah.
June 16 became a massacre, but charges later escalated to treason after they raided the Lily's farm in Rivonia. That's where they found his writings and everything, and he was arrested, and since Vele and I was in jail.
We're gonna go until where?
This is where we're going.
Okay.
So this is the space.
Hector Zolile Peterson, a 13-year-old schoolboy, was shot and died at this corner during a class between the police and students, and the uprising against Africans
in
as
the
a
medium. Because after the high schools, before 76, the government forced Afrikaans as a medium of instruction. So all the books that came back, they came back written in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
So 90% of the students failed. That's why they said, no, we're not going to have it.
Yeah.
Because now we were used to be taught in English, but now all of a sudden you have to do mathematics with Afrikaans, science with Afrikaans. So they gathered by the corner here. So this line
This
here,
corner here.
this
Yeah.
corner here. So you know the story. If you know the story. So they gathered over here. Police came. They were that side. So you are the student, and I am the police. So the constable came there. I don't know, with something, he drew a line on the ground. You see, that's what this one represents, the firing line and the spot where Hector Peterson was shot. So connecting to the Dover Museum. But now, when the police came, they drew that line and said, okay guys, we give you a few minutes. But before anything can happen, one of the constables had a dog with him. The dog was named Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu was only taught to bite black people. So he was let go to the students, and he saw 1,000 black students and obviously went mad. But the student never had guns or anything, so they took the stones. They stoned Shaka to death and they threw him back.
Shaka, you mean a dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they threw him back and he landed on the line. So now the constable, what you know what he did? He took the walkie-talkie, because there's the police station on the other side of the alley. He said, come with guns blazing, one of our own has been shot down. So
Because of a dog.
Meaning the dog. Yeah, exactly.
They used to, like, white people used to, like, let me say white people. Let's say apartheid people.
Apartheid people, yes.
They used to like animals more than they
Yes. You
So they
know,
hated black
a
people
Black man
that-
would sit at the back and the dog at the front of the van. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, police came, and the first student to be shot was 8-year-old by the corner at the bottom there.
Yeah.
But because of not having pictures like Hector,
Yeah, like that
that's why he's
picture.
not in the history books. So Hector was from a school coming this way to go look for the sister so that they could go home together, because she had the key. But that's when he was met with death at this corner of Vilakazi and Moyema. And luckily, because there was a guy who was a local journalist working for the Daily Sun.
Is he the one who
Daily
shot
News.
the picture that is
Yes.
famous?
So that guy was not also allowed to be here at that point. So he was off duty and had his camera. So he started taking pictures. And he saw police coming to him at the same time, but busy at the student. So he took out the film, he hid it in his socks and put in a fresh one. So that's how those pictures survived.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now, when police got there, they actually smashed the camera and told him that we are detaining you. Then he asked nicely, can I drop everything by Desmond Tutu's house? You know Desmond Tutu's house?
No.
Next to Sakumzi.
Oh, yeah. We just
Yeah,
Desmond Tutu was in there.
yeah,
Archbishop.
yes. And you know, that's why the street is so famous,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
of the two Nobel Prize winners
Yeah, yeah.
in one street. Desmond Tutu in 84 and Mandela in 94.
Yes.
You see? So now, that guy asked nicely, can I leave my camera by Desmond Tutu? So that's how those pictures survived. But now also that's how Desmond Tutu got a Nobel Peace Prize, because he took those pictures to the international community to go campaign for racial equality. But also, those pictures, they tried taking them out here. So 5 publications, they got banned. They were no more working. So those pictures were taken out in Botswana instead. That's how they became famous. you
Oh.
know. And the guy that was carrying Hector Peterson, there's a sad story about him. He was 18, Hector Peterson was 13, the sister Antoinette was 16. And she was here early doing her talk. You see, because she's still alive, she was working at the museum until she retired 4 years back. So now that guy was just walking up the street here, saw a kid lying, took the kid, ran into the clinic, the pictures were taken, and from then onwards, when the pictures got famous, he was actually the most wanted. Because they actually didn't know TLC Mashinini, so they thought maybe it was him. Maybe he's going to tell them something, or maybe he's the organizer of the whole commotion because he looked a bit taller than any
What?
other one.
No, I'm from South Africa, though. I'm local.
My chance.
Yeah, well.
Awutyam. Sisaphiza Awutyam labantu bahlala la.
We from here, man.
Bafoster ke. So now
Okay.
there. So that's how the pictures survived. But that guy now was now the most wanted. So before running away, he hid in this church here. From then onwards, he ran to Botswana. From Botswana,
This is a Catholic church?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. From then onwards, he went to Vilakazi. Yeah. It's Anglican.
Anglican.
Yeah, one of the two. So now, that guy then ran to Botswana. But in Botswana, you know that the government of SA had the help of the CIA back in the days. So even Mandela, that's how he got caught, because CIA gave away his location.
Oh.
That's why you also find the letter in Mandela's house apologizing to Mandela for giving away his location.
How much is to enter Mandela house?
It's $40.
40 rand per person.
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela house.
But it's closed now, okay? They closed quarter to 5.
Oh.
So now that guy ran to Botswana after, like I said, because the SA government had the help of CIA. So he felt not safe. But he also got a scholarship in Nigeria. Then he went to Nigeria, but he stayed there. He was sending letters back home. That's how he gave away his location. That's why now, when they talk about him, they say he is or he was, because they don't know if
he's still alive or not.
dead. But they tried tracing him until someone claimed to be him in Canada. You remember the story? They went to go do a DNA test to find it. Nah, it's not. But then that's how he disappeared. And even the mom, when they talk about him, he says he is or he was, because Abamtola. And obviously, by sending those letters, obvious, that was giving away the location already, you know.
Yeah.
So if we jump over that side, we see the confrontation of the students, the police, and that famous dog.
I don't think we have to go any further.
No,
Because
we just here.
oh, we
this
just
corner here.
okay. Did you do history at school?
I'm actually going to be writing my module in February for tourism. So this is
Nice.
called the student confrontation. You see, and if you guys know,
Boring.
Yeah.
Student
confrontation. So kiona a student confrontation. If you remember the policeman, so how do you see that he's a policeman beside the dog?
The cap.
Okay, you are clever. But one other thing, besides the chain, that makes him look white than black.
The nose?
Because you are coming right.
Yeah, the nose.
You see he's got a sharper
Yeah,
nose.
yeah.
And these ones, what
They
do
don't
you
have-
that's
oxygen?
small
Yeah.
Oh.
So now this is the famous dog.
Shaka Zulu.
Yeah. And the famous cop with the famous dog.
So what's the name of this famous cop?
There is the name.
We don't
supposed to be
care
one of
about
the
him.
two, but yeah, hey.
We don't care
no,
about
hi, man,
him.
hi. He must go
he
to
was-
the nearest and do a there. So now, as you can see, but there's a board on the side here. If you can read this one before we go down. You were asking what church?
Yeah.
The Methodists. Oh man. So it's much. This whole thing, you see, it was between 5,000 and 6,000 students that had gathered here by 10 a.m. You see, but now what happened? Now the student leader of the South African movement.
5,000 to 6,000.
Yes.
Shit.
19-year-old Tsietsi Mashinini.
Oh.
Yabo.
So that building that they're building is
that
to
is-
honor him.
Yeah, it is
Oh, it
actually
is.
Tsietsi Mashinini's brothers.
Oh.
Yes, that are building there.
So the restaurant is gonna be called after him, or we don't know.
But I just know the family because they're actually my neighbors. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah. So now it was him that went on top of the tractor and shouted to the assembled crowd that, brothers and sisters, I appeal to you, keep calm and cool. We have received a report that the police are coming. Don't taunt them, don't do anything to them, be cool and calm. We are not fighting. And obviously, the government then didn't take shit. Whenever you protest, they shoot. You see,
Yeah.
and every protest was supposed to be peaceful, and every massacre that you know, it was supposed to be a peaceful protest. Yeah, well, so that's the reason the Abu Mandela said it. No. Did you know that Mandela's first mission was to bomb a garage? and he actually succeeded, but no one got hurt. You know,
He bombed the garage.
Nelson Mandela. Yeah,
He bombed the
that was
garage?
his first- Now, because they were starting the military wing of the ANC, and now obviously with the military, they had to fight fire with fire. They had to go over other countries to go seek for military support, and obviously military, it means now, yeah.
Hold on. He bombed the garage as a heist or what?
No,
was
no,
it?
no. It was his mission. It was his first mission.
Was it
To just bomb a
warning
garage?
to people or
Yeah,
what
it was warning to the government, but now they were fighting the government with fire now, you know, because they tried, you know, Mandela and them, they were lawyers. So that's why they said, no, let's do this thing peacefully. That's why it was all marches. But all the marches, they would slaughter them. They would come with guns and just shoot, and they didn't care, you know. So they were, no, we've been trying, but it doesn't work. So rather we start MK. MK was actually to disguise the name so that...
MK is Mkondo Wesiso.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So now, obviously, I think they knew the African National Congress. So they never knew Guti MK was part of the African National Congress because it was called with a different name, but it was the military wing of the ANC.
So now MK that is formed now, the Jacob Zuma one.
Yeah, Jacob Zuma, you know, he was the what do you call the top guy in the army?
Is it
General.
General.
Yeah, the guy general of the MK. That's why all the
Oh,
MK
so
guards
now they're
Jacob
bringing back
Zuma.
the thing.
Yeah, because even in exile there in Uganda, who was in charge? It was Zuma. And that's why Zuma was in charge of NPA or NIA, National Intelligence. So because why he was a general of the MK when they were in. That's why Zuma is so famous. That's why of all the support. Because when he was in the army, he actually did good things. Actually, you know, he took care of everyone and the soldiers, and he make sure everyone is good. That's why they respect him so much. Besides him being a president, but the role he played then was big. That's why all the MK said, no, we are going with our general. You know, the soldiers and the general, hey, it's another story. Hey, man.
Vilakazi Street Princess.
So this is Corner Moyema in Vilakazi. So after the uprising on June 16, on the 17th, early in the morning, this street was full of blood and